What is up, people? We are back live and direct coming at you this Wednesday evening. The Champions League has just concluded match week 3, and what a doozy it was indeed. Of course, we're talking Premier League. We're talking Arsenal, City, and Chelsea. It's the set piece again, ole, ole. And of course, Erling Haaland doing Erling Haaland things. Harry Kane as well doing Harry Kane things. And who's playing center back at Chelsea? No one knows because they, all kinds of injuries, but they're still managing to get through. But of course, before all of that, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for being here. And hype up the video. Something I've seen on YouTube. I guess it helps the algorithm. Yeah, so go ahead and hype it up. But yeah, we'll go ahead and kick it off. I'll start today. Like I say, it's Corner Kick FC. It's Set Piece FC. And Arsenal are flying right now, man. We're absolutely flying. We're winning in different ways as far as different dynamics to the game. And I've heard a lot of takes that I kind of disagree with. I love the all the things on Instagram and Twitter with the haram derby and the haram ball and the terrorist football. It's Diego versus Arteta. It's going to be just the most boring, disgusting, defensive, stalemate, nothing game. Even the CBS commentators, presenters, Micah Richards, and the lady that's with him this season that was actually at the stadium, not Kate in the studio, but actually at the stadium, they're like, man, this game's going to be boring. And then they had to eat their words because even the 0-0 at halftime, the game was absolutely incredible. And then, of course, we blitzed them in the second half. And I think, honestly, it's a continuation of the way we've been playing since the loss to Liverpool. I don't know if it was the noise in the press about Arteta, and perhaps a bit of cowardice. Of course, I jumped in on all that. I'm not going to say I didn't. And ever since then, he's kind of answered all those questions. He's lined us up correctly. He's made correct substitutions. And so, at the end of the day, you got to give credit where it's due. I've obviously backed off the whole Arteta out stuff, but like I say, until we go back to him not doing things that he's supposed to be doing that seem obvious and logical, I'm gonna keep stay off of that and be happy to be proven wrong, honestly, because at no point, even against Fulham, we weren't defensive at all. Fulham played the haram ball, the terrorist football, and had 37 guys behind the ball for the entire match. Didn't try to win at all. And so, yeah, we did. We scored a set piece and we won the game. And even after that, they didn't try to win the game. They didn't try to come out at all. Really. Take, for example, when Traore came on and he does what he does and dribbles like 6 guys before he looks up. And then there was no one in the box in the 93rd minute, down a goal at home. There was no one there. He's all by himself, And so, I mean, maybe that's fear to just get absolutely blitzed like Madrid did. But, I said before the Madrid game that it all depended on how Simeone tactically set up. And I don't think they sat back. I've heard some takes that they kind of sat back and were defensive and, tried to be compact and do the game plan that you've seen over, over the past couple of seasons that has stifled us, that you would probably expect from Simeone. But I thought that they did try to play out, and there was like a 15-minute spell at the end of the first half where, me, I'm always talking about second balls, and we stopped winning them. In the first 20, we had a lot of energy and we were winning all 7 balls, and we were kind of keeping them pinned in. In the second half of the first half, we weren't. And Atletico can play in tight spaces. They got technical players that can pass out of traps, that can pass, out their way out of areas, and they were able to do that a number of times. And as much as I'm obviously going to laud and tout the fact that we've gone 3 games and conceded 1 shot on goal the whole time, I will say that just like versus Fulham, because Harry Wilson hit a couple of them just wide of the post. Atletico also had a couple of them. Alvarez, did you watch the whole Arsenal? Did you even watch the highlights?
I have not been able to yet. I should probably go do that while we're talking.
At 0-0, David Raya hasn't even – he's been on a pillow and a blanket the whole game. Hasn't done anything, right? And they get a ball into the channel. And here comes Raya on an absolute walkabout. Just moment of madness, and tries to clear it and ends up giving it to Julian Alvarez on the sideline.
Mm.
And he's not even in no man's land. He's left back. He's at left back. And Alvarez just puts it past him, just barely misses it. So yes, we've conceded a single shot on target in 3 games, but also Atletico had 10 chances or something like that. It was like 9 chances, and their shot on target was in the 78th minute. So I think that they actually played a very good game up until the first goal. And that's where I want to talk about the set pieces. A lot of smoke coming Arsenal's way because we score on corner kicks all the time. We score free kicks all the time. And people are sour is what it is. It's sour grapes, honestly. But when you look at the fact that, and it's undisputable that most teams put 11 men behind the ball and try to defend for 90 minutes against us. Now, a lot of people are accusing Pep of doing that. He didn't do that. For the first half of that game, they came at us, got their goal, and then when we got on top at the beginning of the second half, Pep made the subs and packed it in, right? It wasn't like he came to do that. That's how the game went. A lot of people are saying that, and I'm like, that's not how that went. But the likes of Fulham are always doing that. And so goals change games, right? So anytime you're gonna, there's no space, there's no XG, we're not creating anything, but then you score a free kick. Now the team has to come out. Now you have no choice. Now they have to come out. And the perfect example, once again, got to give Arteta credit, got to give the coaching staff credit, Nicolas Jova, free kick specialist, because we scored a free kick goal against Atleti. And teams like that, especially in the Champions League, immediately up the energy, try to come at you, and we blitzed them. We absolutely blitzed them because they opened up just a tiny bit and the floodgates ran all over them. And, I mean, that 15 minutes was we were unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. And I want to shout out, of course, you know how I like to say when Arsenal are good, when we're at our best, it's really hard to find a man of the match. Because, in the first half, Timber was amazing and Saka was amazing. Zubamendi had a very good game. Martinelli, of course, what an absolute gem of a chef's kiss of a Thierry Henry finish for the second goal. After the Miles Lewis Skelly the 19-year-old, sorry, Lewis, the against Man City, the Haaland doing kid, celebration doing kid, beats 4 guys, and just a soft little, gentle little ball to Martinelli for the, myself included, people talking a lot of trash about Trossard and Martinelli. I'll raise my hand, myself included.
You did.
They haven't stopped scoring. Neither of them have stopped scoring goals since everybody's been moaning. Oh, we don't want him in the starting lineup. Oh, man, I can't believe Madueke went down. Now we have to start Trossard and Martinelli, who have not stopped scoring goals. And then my man of the match. And I want to mention him first before I mention one last player. My man of the match, Victor Mother effing Gyökeres. Oh my God, dude. This guy, I absolutely adore this man. I'm so happy we finally have a real number 9. Yeah, he's got the 14 on his back, sure. Awesome. Love it. Whatever. This is a real forward, old school striker type of player. And even before he got the 2, he got the one goal that was like a bundled shot. He kind of forced it past the defender through his legs. And then, of course, my favorite, the 4th goal, the dick goal.
I did see that.
Yes, he's whacked it with his penis. It was an amazing goal, and so, I mean, but the goals weren't even why he's the man of the match. He's the work he did in that first. He was magnificent, dude. He was so good, occupying the defenders. The center backs were probably so mad, so annoyed, just over it by the end of that game. Going after every ball, contesting every header. The guy was incredible, man. And, dragging defenders into space, helping out the team with passes, getting into the channels, getting on the end of stuff, being a nuisance in the butt. Just like every single thing you need from a number 9. It's like, you know how much I hate Diego Costa? It's the kind of performances that Diego Costa would put in, where he's just making you mad. He's just pissed off. He's like, how did he get there? What? Oh, and this dude's not that good. What are we doing right now? You know what I mean? It's the kind of thing. It's a kind of attitude that Gyökeres makes defenders have. It's the
Diego
kind of
was a worker.
Yeah, dude. Gyökeres.
That's why Jose wanted him. He was a worker. He'd work and work and work, and then Cesc would like find him a shot that he wouldn't miss. But yeah, I love strikers that are workers.
Absolutely. And you wouldn't think that he would have that fitness, but he's gotten up to fitness. He looks like he's like big.
Yeah.
But and yes, I'll give you, when he gets going in behind, he's a tank. He's just an absolute Sherman. And the only way, you're going to catch him. The defender's going to catch him. But he might just bundle you out of the way because he's an absolute monster. And I do think that the 2 tap-ins will it'll just be like the floodgate. It'll get that mental block where he went 9 games without a goal. And there was all this space invading, and he works hard and he occupies defenders and all this. Yes, he does all of that. And now he's going to add the goals as well that, the maybe lesser thinking, the people that don't think as deep into the game and are just like, oh, if he doesn't score goals, he's shit. Those people are going to be just as satisfied as well. And yeah, hats off to him. The guy worked his socks off, and he does everything you need from a forward. And then he got the goals, and I was so happy for him, of course. But last and certainly not least, at least for my part here, I want to shout out Declan Rice. I know I do it a lot, and it's because he's the best doing it right now. Yeah, I will argue with you over anyone. We'll talk about anyone in the center of the midfield. Let's look at every squad that exists, and you tell me who's playing in front of him. Because this man can do anything you need him to do. Caicedo's got bangers. Rice has bangers. Caicedo hit Rice, and the free kicks, man, are just – it's insane. You want him to put it on the near post? Fine. You want him to put it on the first man header? Gotcha. You want him to put it right on the goalkeeper? Gotcha. You want him to float one to the top of the box so that guy can go for a volley? Zubamendi, no problem. You want him to hit him to the back post for the Gabriel run? No problem. You want him to curl it from the left side, in swinger towards Gabriel for the first goal against Atletico Madrid? No problem. You want him to go to the other side and do it and do a curve on this way? No problem. He's got it all day long. Pressure? What pressure? 2 free kicks at the Bernabeu. Absolutely smash Real Madrid. What pressure? Dude, the guy's got everything. You want him to play in the center back? No problem. He's done it for Arsenal. You want him to lift trophies as a captain? Check. You want him to be a captain for his nation? Check. Dude, he's got everything that anyone wants in the center of the midfield. And I'll give you some examples. What else do you want? You want the guy that's going to be on the end to score the goal? Thank you at what was that, Newcastle, or was that Forest? He scored against Forest. Oh, what about the guy who has to run 110 yards back from one goal line, box to box, because the forward has split his center backs and he has to run the man down? Newcastle runs down Jacob Murphy after a 90-yard sprint back because they've gotten in behind Gabriel and Saliba. No problem. Thank you. We'll have that all day long. My man is an absolute beast, and he's doing it game in and game out. And there was one moment, it was 0-0 versus Atletico Madrid, and we were pressing, we had the ball, and we were going in, and they like cleared it a little bit, and Alvarez picked up the ball. He picked up the loose ball kind of near the halfway line, and he had some space. He was past Zubamendi, and he was past Eze, and Rice made a 30-yard sprint to block off the way Alvarez was going, right? And so Alvarez turns in, and there's Eze, Saka, and Zubamendi, right? But if Rice hadn't have gotten back to block Alvarez, he was going to play in Sorloth. He was about to find the space to play the ball in. So Rice blocks up the ball, right? And then in this scrum, he gets the last touch that puts the ball to Martinelli, who then takes 2 dribbles, draws the foul, set piece, goal, and we go on to win 4-0. He also took that set piece. So, like, the dude is just, he's integral to everything Arsenal are doing right now. And for my money, he's the best around. Absolutely. And, you know, if we carry on in this fashion, you know, if we keep putting up this, you know, this kind of energy and just shutting everybody down, look out. Look out. What are we saying? That was kind of monologue-ish.
I mean, I think you make a good argument for sure. My devil's advocate on that is, I think while Arsenal is different with him playing, I think Arsenal still would be pretty quality if he wasn't playing. And I point to Rodri and him being out last season and exactly what that did to City. And I think you play differently for sure if Rice doesn't play. I think if you, my thing is I hear grabbing backs or Burke is the the best midfielder in the Premier League, and I don't see it. I think it's because he's versatile for sure. But I think Caicedo has a really good argument as well, but he doesn't do the set piece stuff. He doesn't do the corners. He's more of a 6 than an 8. And so I don't think Caicedo starts in front of him or even challenges because Rice is more of an 8 anyways. So, in the argument, Rice is more of an 8 anyways.
Sorry, I'm echoing.
But with it, in that argument, I mean, I think those three, Rodri, Rice, and Caicedo, are the true. Like, if you're going to set up a midfield right now, you're wanting one of those three in your midfield for sure. No matter if it's EPL or, top of club level, because what they do for each team. I mean, I just saw this morning that Real Madrid has already tried to come after Caicedo. And it sounds like if you put the pieces together, sounds like he left his agent because they were shopping him to Real Madrid. And Caicedo loves it.
I heard about
that. Loves it at Chelsea. And so he dropped his agent, and everybody was concerned. And what it did is it solidified him staying at Chelsea. But I think if all that being said, I think Rice is an incredible player. I think that he does things that not many can do. And I think he has his own place, especially in an Arsenal lineup. Like, I think about how he would fit in at Chelsea, and I don't know if that's a fit,
The question for Chelsea is, does he start in front of Enzo? Because it'd be a dream to have Caicedo and Rice, and then whoever, Palmer or Eze or whoever's your attacking preference, But Caicedo next to Rice,
yeah.
Or as a Chelsea fan, would you prefer Caicedo Enzo? That's obviously your prerogative.
I mean, I think Enzo gets a bad rap. One, because of how much he costs. He, had some moments when he started out. We always joked about, when he was with his wife or girlfriend.
Yeah.
He didn't put in much effort, and then but I think that especially over the last season, we've seen what Enzo can do. I think he fits for Chelsea. I think that I don't know if Rice would fit into what Chelsea does. I think it would be nice to have somebody like Rice coming into the box on secondary passes to take shots for sure. Ever since Frank left, I have begged for us to have a midfielder who makes that run. Just
the late run. Yeah.
The late run. And Enzo does it quite well now. I can only imagine what Rice could do with that, potential as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you gave me the choice to have Rice, of course I would take Rice. But I think for what Chelsea does, I think Enzo's a really good piece. And there's a reason why he's now getting captain during Champions League matches. And I think he's grown up a lot too. He's matured a lot. Today, not segueing yet, but today, he showed why he can be a captain. And so, yeah, but in the end, I'd take both of them. But it would be pretty much unfair if you had Rice and Caicedo together.
I agree. It's definitely. I agree. That's a lot about styles goes into it. What you saying, Nez?
Well, I mean, I largely agree with what you said because I one and Patrick, you probably missed my comment about Rodri last week, but yeah, Rodri is not that guy anymore, and it's not because I'm hating. It's because you can see like an injury like that changes how you play, who you are, and I mean he was literally. And I'm saying was because we don't know he was in his prime. Like he's not playing because of a hamstring issue because all that recovery stuff is just, and so Pep is going to sparingly play him. So Rodri's not in the conversation at all. And so I agree. I think Rice, I would say, I mean, it's probably just by a hair. I think Rice is the best player on the Arsenal team. And I mean, I mean, and the only reason I'm saying by a hair is because that center back pairing is pretty freaking good too. Yeah, so I'm not going to take anything away from those guys.
Don't forget a certain star boy.
Yeah, ain't nobody talking about him. And here's why I'm not going to talk about him is because he was missing and this guy was still doing it, right? Yeah. And so that's literally my criteria because they were playing as and other people there, so they can do it without him. And the important thing to Patrick's point is I think something along the lines you mentioned, like if Rice wasn't there, well. You saw what Arsenal was when Saka wasn't there, and they didn't know how to kind of form. And the concern was there. But then, as Jake pointed out, Trossard and why is the other name left my head?
Martinelli.
Martinelli.
Nelly.
Yeah. You know, they found their way. But Rice being there, he's a staple. He's what. And because I mean, obviously the Arsenal game and the City game was on at the same time, so I didn't watch it. But I did see the interview with Ilkers after with Micah Richard, and I saw the highlights, and he had a really good game. And but to focus on that, there's a lot of guys missing that were staples that Arsenal looked bad when they were gone. Rice is in there, and Rice is literally looking like, and I'm not saying this is equal, but he's looking like what Rodri was during that run where City won everything. And so I give him credit for that because that's a hard position to play, but two, to play with that consistency throughout the year, and especially since it's more games this year because of the way Champions League and the league and all that stuff is set up, that I'm going to give him his credit here. And my thing is that I think they look good. It was funny because I guess the result made Alvarez be like, oh, I don't know about us wanting to win a project. Well, there was a project in Manchester that you were a large part of and you chose to leave. So whatever, dude. Ain't nobody trying to hear you. And
he is balling out, though.
And complaining. So nobody's trying to hear that. Nobody's trying to hear that. You chose
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because he was literally the De Bruyne replacement. So I'm not trying to hear that. So anyways, I'm gonna give Arsenal a lot of credit. I think the odds are obviously for them to win the Champions League the way they look now. But we also, because unfortunately Lewis is a pragmatist. We all understand the season is super long. I agree with the way they look now. They should be the favorites. They also look like the hair favorites for the league because the league is not like blown open yet because City's 3 points behind them. And, Liverpool is literally on City's same run at the same time that they fell off the cliff last year, the same way, which is kind of funny. And whatever, right? So I look at it and I say, give Arsenal lots of credit. I'm going to also, because Jake and we talked about that. I'm giving Arteta credit because I know I challenged that, and I'm good with the way he is. He's lost some of that fear, or maybe he feels like he's clicking with his guys now, and that there's that dependency that existed on one guy is gone. Because I think that's a really big thing too. And I think, the point you made about like when Arsenal looks good, it's hard to pick a guy. I think that's one of the things that, again, while pundits and TV personalities and sports news wants to name a guy, it's better if there's a bunch of guys. And again, I'm just speaking from I got to fortunately be in the prime of my life to see City make a run. And even though Kevin De Bruyne was that guy, there was lots of guys, and that matters.
Phil Foden was amazing that year.
Phil, I mean, we skip Haaland altogether, right?
Well, yeah, because that's implied.
No, but I mean, Ruben Diaz had probably the best season of his life. John Stones was amazing. I mean, it was just
healthy for a change. Yeah,
lots of guys did things, and so Arsenal have sort of the same shape up. I mean, and see, because I know I'm a weird sports fan. I'm no hater. Hey, man, win as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, win as much as you can, as often as you can. I still stand by. You definitely go for that first trophy. You definitely go for the Carabao Cup because you got to know what it feels like to lift it. And it was funny because Jake, it's a short stab, but it's still a stab. When you was listing all the stuff that Rice had, and then you said, hey, is he a captain of a team that lifted the cup? And I'm like, nah, come on, we talking about West Ham now. But you're talking about West Ham. But I was like, I understand where he going.
Lifted a trophy in the air with an armband on his arm. That's
and I would be remiss
just because I haven't done it doesn't mean Declan has.
right. Just because as a non-Arsenal supporter, I just have to point that out, that I loved how you framed it, the writer you are, and then you moved the national team, so it was a nice segue off of Arsenal. I like it, but I was like, I caught that one. But yes,
well, it was a conversation about individuals, yes, and so
yeah, for sure.
We laud all of the individual, plaudits.
Yes, but, but I think he's been amazing this year, and I hope and there's a couple of things. I hope he stays healthy this year. Because I'm being honest. I ain't no hater. I want teams to be healthy so they play their best against everybody. Because it's not fun when you like, if I wasn't injured. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear none of it. So I hope he stays healthy, and I hope he continues to play well. He could play well against City. We'll just score more or whatever. And we give Erling Haaland credit for being the one guy to score against the defense in open play. But yeah, I thought it was an impressive showing for Arsenal against Atletico. I mean, because after Alvarez took the shot, did it hit the crossbar or the post?
Yeah, I think
it's crossbar. It's crossbar, and that was the only real good one they had, and then it was nothing after that. So yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah, I think if you look, especially you mentioned winning the Carabao Cup, and you look at how City and their rise to winning trophies, especially if you look at how long it took you to win the Champions League and how you did it. I once again have to go back to Arteta, because our first season in Champions League, and again, I'll say it was the first time we took a tournament seriously under Arteta. We got to round of 16. Awesome. Great. Crumbled at Bayern. That happens. Next year, we absolutely crush Madrid in the quarterfinals, get to a semi, get blanked. Whatever. We're learning. Yeah. So not only does, you kind of mentioned that Arteta may not have as that fear anymore. I think a lot of what it is he's built the system. The guys have bought into the system. We're doing things consistently, the same things consistently, and it's working, continuously, i.e. the set pieces, i.e. if you watch Arsenal play, I know a lot of people don't find that an attractive prospect, but if you watch us play, I've said it a ton of times, the overall goal of our press is to make the goalkeeper kick it long, so that we can win the second ball, because we have an absolute bruising monster in there winning second balls, i.e. Declan Rice. And the blog post I did for Cup Chasers blog this week was about winning second balls, and it's about suffocating teams. That's why when Man City was at their best, not only did they press you like animals off the ball so that you hit it long, then when they won the second ball, it would take another 5 minutes before you got another sniff, and that's kind of what Arsenal's tried to do, and so when we win the second ball, we immediately calm things down, slow it down, pass it back, and try to have a 30 pass, 3 or 4 minute possession, so that you don't see the ball. That's half the reason our defense is so good, is because no one sees the ball against us. Look at the way we swarmed against Atleti. And even in the period where they were able to string a few passes together and beat the trap a couple of times, we're still swarming all over, man. It's still Big Gab and Willie, who are one of the best pairings in the world right now, of course. So I think that everything Arteta has tried to put together has finally kind of come in together at the same time. And you mentioned the depth. Of course, we haven't even spoken on the fact that Odegaard's been out for the last 2 games.
Well, I kind of did. I alluded to it about whom people missing, and that's why I said Rice is the best player on the team, because I didn't even see the point in bringing him up.
Yeah, because Eze's definitely filled in. It's different, but if you look just at the last 2 games, and the Fulham game, it was a little bit dead because he wasn't necessarily able. He doesn't come back as far as Odegaard does to pick up possession to try and progress when Zubi and Rice are marked out. When Gabriel or whoever has the ball when we're trying to progress forward, Odegaard would come a lot farther back. I noticed that in the Fulham game, and our build-up wasn't as good. But Eze was a lot more aggressive in the press versus Atleti, and it led to a lot of times, like Eze and Gyökeres together made Oblak kick it long so many times, like that. It just felt like we had them pinned in for long periods, which is what City used to do to people. And I think that we've learned a lot of things in the time. And, I said however many years ago, before I totally lost faith, that eventually Arteta could do it. That I felt like eventually he could probably get there. And now all of the pieces are kind of forming that eventually.
It's the optimism, but it's also as long as they keep the mentality, they'll be fine. But it's a long season, man. It's Absolutely. A very long season, and that Christmas festive period is it makes or breaks people, man. Because that them run of games, man.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of presents, Christmas period presents. I see what I did there. Erling Haaland and Harry Kane have been given presents out left, right, and center. These guys just can't stop scoring at the moment, man. Harry Kane again today, like so much so that I knew Bayern were going to smash Brugge, right? So my bet today on that game was over 3.5. I bet Kane to score twice and get an assist.
Wow.
That's how confident I am at how well he's playing. Like, if you watched any of their games, he's
on fire, man.
He's on fire, man.
Company just got an extension.
He's doing defensive work back in the box. He's spraying passes all left, right, and center. He's scoring goals. He's always
kind of been that guy, though. He's probably the most complete center forward in the world right now. Sure. I think I give him that.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up.
To grab balls, and then progress it,
this is not we didn't see this at Tottenham.
Well, I think there's
we saw the going forward, but not the coming to get the ball, not the linking up.
He did that.
Absolutely.
Oh, he did that. He was making tackles in the box, in his own box.
Now, I don't remember that, but he would come back and get the ball,
retrieving the ball, and then hitting a 60-yard banger out to Michael Leaue.
Well, so I mean, we're using Spurs, and they're a terrible example, right? But I mean, I think
it's fine.
But I mean, if we use Kane, I think one thing is that he has a trophy, so that monkey is gone. Sure. The second thing is that he's learned the Bundesliga, and I mean, respectfully, because it's not the Farmers League, because there's good teams there, but I mean, they're farmers to him, and so. Like, they play him very differently than anywhere else, so he's gonna score. Like, the Terry's on. It feels kind of expected because I mean he did it last year and he was just figuring it out. Now he knows it, so for sure he's figuring it out. But like that front line that they play with at Bayern is perfect for him.
Stupid.
And in addition to that, like Company has another year, and obviously Vinny has a relationship. He played against him, obviously, but then they kind of know each other. And Company looks very much more comfortable in the team, and so they take the Bundesliga as sort of the training ground to walk into the Champions League to punch people in the face. And I mean, the competition today was so it's a matter of like. You kind of expected it like you did, but he still has to do it. You know what I mean? For example, you mentioned Haaland. Like Haaland had one, but he could have had three.
Yeah,
easily. But again, you have to give credit because the keeper,
Kane should have scored a hat trick today as well, but he only got one.
Yeah, but the keeper, the keeper played really, played decent enough against Haaland in spaces where he couldn't get those, and so he got his one, and then you kind of remove him. And I think Kane for sure is probably the most complete striker right now. Just like I would give Declan Rice probably the most complete midfielder in the game right now, even though that bodes kind of bad for England because you can't have the best players and not do anything. But anyways, we're talking about club football. So in club football, we're he's the guy. I'm gonna give him a lot of credit. Will I give Haaland a lot of credit for what he's doing? Because he's obviously evolved his game. Anybody with two eyeballs that has vision that comes into them can see he's changed his game. He's improved where he does go back. He passes more. He does a little. His hold up play is a lot better than what it was before, and overall he's a better player, which is kind of scary because what you have to look at is we're comparing Kane and Haaland, and Kane is in his 30s, and Haaland is
8 years on him or something,
and Haaland's in his 20s. So if Haaland is watching Kane do what he does and says, okay, well I can do that, I have the physicality and speed. It gives him sort of an idea of what he can evolve his game to. Because, a lot of people looked at Zlatan and said, well, Haaland's that. Well, Haaland doesn't have the skill that Zlatan has. Like, Zlatan was a very complete technical football player. Kane is I would say Kane is probably a closer mold for Haaland to look at as he evolves his game. Because, he's already a goal scorer. But you can learn from anybody. And I think if he looks at how Kane does stuff and he maintains his stuff and stays healthy, he can get complete like that, because I know a lot of the criticisms about Kane, Haaland is he's not a really technically gifted player. If I'm shooting straight, and I think Patrick kind of made a mention to this, hey man, my striker's supposed to score goals. I don't care about all that other stuff, man. Just put the ball in the net, dude. you get a space. I don't care how tiny or big it is. Put it in there. You put it in there more than the other team. I don't care if you can do rainbow flicks or whatever. I don't care about any of that.
Patrick, you mentioned in the when we were talking about Rice and Caicedo, how styles definitely affect what you would choose. Would you agree that the same here depends on what kind of system, what kind of team you're trying to build, whether you pick Haaland or Kane to go up front?
For sure, because if you're playing, I think back to Brentford when they had Tony and how they played. And, everybody's like, okay, well, Tony goes here, he's going to be even better. But the style that Brentford played to his strengths. If you put him in Enzo Maresca's, style of play, I don't know if he would be the Ivan Toney of Brentford. I think though, when you're incredibly talented like Kane, like Haaland, you also decide, okay, we're going to play to their strengths. And it's going to be one of those situations where, he's a back to the goal striker, or he's a technical, or wants to blow by people. I think about when Chelsea had Didier Drogba and Fernando Torres. Fernando Torres. and how different they were. And that was one of the reasons why Fernando in the beginning wasn't good, because he didn't fit in the system. It was a system made for Didier Drogba. And Torres was a guy that won because he had his knee injuries. You know, he didn't have the speed that he used to have. But Torres was the type of player that would play off and run into channels, while you had Drogba, who throw it up to him. He'll play it off to someone, and then he'll make a run.
He'll make it happen, yeah.
Yeah, or he'll just take it himself and do it.
Or he'll come back and get it, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think when you're incredibly talented like Kane and Haaland are, you end up making you build the team around it for sure. But I think knowing the longevity that's still there for Haaland, I think I would take Haaland right now. And I think he's a little bit more plug and play. Like Lewis was saying, you know, he was trying to figure out how to play in companies' systems, right? I think Haaland's a little bit more plug and play, and I think that's one reason why Kane with the national team, while he was good, he wasn't hitting to the level that everybody expected, because the Gareth Southgate style was not. It was not conducive to actually taking advantage of his talent.
Right.
But I think that's why England's going to be legitimately a favorite, because Tuchel, he'll
figure it out.
He'll figure it out.
In addition, he plays the player's strengths, man. You know, I mean, I think he understands that, which is why, like, you know, when Jake mentioned Rice playing, you know, and captain, and like those things matter. And so it's funny because not to go too far into the national team thing, but like leaving players out and letting players know, hey, I'm the manager, not you, was super important. I mean, if that happened in the country in the northern part of the Americas, you know, but south of Canada, it would really be cool, right? But
it would be.
But talking about England, the manager, you know, understands that, and so and I agree with Patrick. But the reason I think Haaland's more plug and play, because we've literally seen him play like in 4 different systems, and he just gets goals. That's what he does. I'm gonna run hard and work hard, and I'm gonna get goals, and I don't care how I get them, right? And he does it everywhere. Yeah. And so, you know, I think once Kane is comfortable and his team understands him, he's scary. But the funny thing is, Haaland doesn't care. He's just like, give me the ball, man. He's like the young, hungry guy that just throw it up there. You know, I got it.
It's so interesting to me. They're separate dynamics, because City is definitely reliant on Haaland's goals, and it seems like Bayern isn't reliant on Kane, but this is just what they're currently doing during Kane's absolute hot streak. You know, so it's the same reliance, but in a completely kind of different fashion. Right.
Yeah, I think Haaland is the type of, and I mean, you've said this before, you know, there were times when he was bullying, you know, Gabriel and Saliba, because at times he can be a bull in a china shop, but he also can be somebody who can finesse one. You know, and like I was saying, like, I think he's just more plug and play because of his flexibility. Kane's amazing. I'm not going to, I would take him in a heartbeat. You know, and there's word that he's wanting to come back to England, and I'm like, yeah, you could go play for Chelsea. I think he would fit in Chelsea. Eventually, I think he would fit. But you know, it's just, I think it's splitting hairs when it comes to the two of them. They're both incredible talents, and any club would be lucky to have them. And I'm so glad that Kane is no longer a Spur, because I like pulling for him.
Yeah, it's weird. I kind of find myself like, I don't hate him as much as I used to. And while that might make sense, I mean, like, more than you might think, because I hate him when he was in England, man. But yeah, I agree. Like, just as a fan of the game itself, to see some of the work he's putting in right now, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's I wish him I never hated him. I mean, he used to score against City. Like City used to have issues with Spurs, but maybe it's because but it just I guess I never cared about Spurs like that. So I mean, it was kind of a thing.
You got your noisy neighbor. No,
come on, boys, it's Tottenham.
Yeah.
Well, no, not even that. But I mean, this was even during when City couldn't beat Spurs or be some goofy things. I mean, I always saw Kane as that, sort of is he was always a clinical guy. And the funny thing is, I think the other reason to kind of root for him is, I mean, I can't even remember, but I remember when he first came on the scene and people was like, oh, he's a one-season wonder. And that turned into for the rest of the seasons after that.
9 seasons later, yeah.
And I respected it because the thing is that he's sort of like a to himself guy. And he really was, he's while he's not like the Red Bull energy drink Jamie Vardy, he's kind of from that same cloth though, because like people didn't respect Harry Kane early. And you think about the journey and like people have they look at him in Spurs and all the stuff he did and how he's getting, close to Shearer's record and all that. And so they forget when the start where nobody really respected him. And I don't forget that. Because I'm like, they really was like, oh, can he do this again? Because they was talking about him sort of the same way they talked about what's the dude that played at Swansea, the Spanish guy,
Mitchell.
That was where they was like, oh, he's amazing, and then he got hurt, and then he fell off the planet, and they thought he was basically going to be that.
I think he still plays somewhere.
Probably, and so I look at Kane, and so I have a respect for his story. I have a respect for his story, though. I think Kane's story is one that really makes it worthwhile. So him winning, unfortunately, needing to leave England, but he was on Spurs. That's his fault because he could have came to City and he would have won. Just leaving it like that. But going to get his trophy, yes, it was in Germany from a team that everybody knew should have won, even though they didn't because the year before they didn't. That he got it. I respect his story. I understand, like, as a London team fan, you might not love him, but I'm
retired.
Talk about shout outs, man. Jamie Vardy at Cremonese in Italy. He played for Udinese on Sunday, this past Sunday. Jamie Vardy, my man. He started. Cremonese are newly promoted in Serie A.
What's the Italian version of Red Bull?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Smash it.
But
Michu is actually retired. He's 30.
Oh, he did retire? Okay.
Yeah, he's 30 now.
But he had a monster first half of that season he had. He was like on it, man.
Yeah. Opening night. I won't forget. Andre Arshavin gives him the ball and he just chips one over I don't know, it's probably Bert Leno. Ugh. Anyway. No, it was longer than that. It was farther than that. Farther back than that. That might have been Almunia. Jesus.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the time.
I don't remember. I can name all the goalkeepers. Back, I don't know when it was. But anyway, yeah. Well, Haaland certainly is carrying Man City at the moment, but y'all have put together a few wins, and despite maybe should have put more on Villarreal, it was a good victory in the end.
Well, the funny thing is the second half they did kind of was like but and I talk trash about them, and I'm still gonna talk trash about them. Yeah, you thought I was gonna say I wasn't. I don't understand why Savinho still starts games. I mean, yes, he played well.
He got the assist, man.
He played well in spots in that game. But I'm just gonna say this: in the 86th minute, when Pep put Ryan Cherky on, and he was just what he was, the world has to be like, either he's waiting for Cherky to get his fitness, because I don't see how any of them start over him, because he's better than all of them. Like, period. And Phil didn't play, and we all know Phil is a starter. And then, because now, he's not on your team anymore. Every City fan has put a pox on Thomas Partey, because Rodri last year and this year, Nico Gonzalez. And even though it's just a knock, so he's supposed to be fine for the next game. But interestingly enough, it was Partey on our 6 right before a game at Villa. I hope he stubs his toe when he wakes up in the morning and falls
on the Lego.
Yes, but falls on the soft carpet. I don't want him to hurt himself. I'm still nice enough to not want complete destruction, but I want that Lego pain to radiate through his whole body.
Thomas Partey is a weird one, man, because
leave our number 6s alone.
Goof. He was such a good servant for us, but he was always injured. But also, like, when it turns out that somebody that you've been a big fan of is and allegedly, because I don't really know, I didn't do any research on it, but allegedly not a really great guy. It kind of changes the way you think about it,
I mean, I was thinking about that too. It's funny because somebody said it's like, we love celebrities for the art or whatever thing that they're famous for, but we fail to recognize that the person they are behind the scenes can very much be a very awful person. And so we have to be careful and couch how we elevate people in the way we do, because they can be terrible, terrible people, and they're just good at the thing we see them do in public.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I know anything about any of that, but
me either. Like I won't repeat anything that people say, because I live by the rules, even though maybe the U.S. Constitution might not exist for too much longer. I still live by that you're innocent until proven guilty. I'm not going to assume your guilt unless I've actually seen you be guilty.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, I think I think that especially with the kind of run away to Aston Villa is not. No. Villa have won 5 straight. Villa have won 5 straight.
It'll be a game, but I think City is going in knowing every game is a game. I think we've really come from a different space where Kova is back. He has the hair now.
He looks like Draco Malfoy's uncle.
Oh my goodness.
Kovacic looks like Draco Malfoy's uncle.
Wow. I can see it, man. I can see it. But Kova's there, and the Reinders can play that position. So I think we're better equipped this year to deal with anything like that, even though obviously we would like our players to be healthy this year. So it kind of is what it is. But Pep is spoiled for choice right now. I think that's very good. Marmoush got a shout. And, you take the win. We take the win. I think we're like in the top 7 in the table. But we did that last year too. This is why I say it's a long season. So we'll see how it is after November. And go from there. But, happy for the victory. I watched the game. I complained a lot to myself, but I did complain a lot about things that they did and did not do. I didn't love the lineup, but Pep has more Champions League than I do. He has more wins.
Just a few.
He has more losses than me too. So
that was a weird lineup. That was a weird lineup, man. Nunez and Lewis. That was odd. That was definitely odd.
But they all played well. And again, Pep knows. Pep knows what he's going for. And I also think he's also looking at the Villa game too. I think he's while we didn't overlook Villarreal, I think he was still thinking about the next game.
Dude, they're 3rd in La Liga, man. They're having a good season.
Yeah, but I think we're better than them. We clearly showed we were better than them too. But it's about just trying to find a consistency minutes for guys, because you also got to find consistency for those guys who are not playing consistent. So because Rico hasn't played a ton, got to get him fit. Nunez has been playing mostly because Kusanov was hurt, but got to get him regular. Stones hadn't played in a while, so it was good to see Stones back in there playing.
That's the first minutes for Marmoush in a bit too. Right?
Yeah, this is his first game back. First game he played. And Cherky, this is his second game playing, but he wasn't there. And then Foden and Doku didn't look great in that game, and so but that's because the guy who was on him was literally rough with him the whole game, and he couldn't beat him. But that's important to know, that works, and you can't do it against everybody, and you have a bench for those things. But I think the result was good, and all onward and upward, right?
Yeah, man, it's going to be difficult in Birmingham on Saturday. It's Sunday, actually.
It is Sunday at 10.
Somehow Arsenal and City played on Tuesday, and now we both have Sunday games.
Amen.
Chelsea played today and play Saturday morning.
Hey man, it ain't none of my business. It happened to City a couple weeks ago, so it is what it is.
And West Ham played Monday, and
They play
tomorrow they play Friday.
nope,
Or not
Friday.
tomorrow, but Friday.
It's Wednesday.
They play on Monday and Friday, but they don't got to worry about anything in the week. Well, I know they got to worry about their form.
Yeah,
flipping hell. But speaking of Villa, man, I want to shout out Matty Cash to Luca Dean to Emi Buendia. Goal of the season. Absolute goal of the season. Dude, it was a long clearance. John McGinn wins the header. And it wasn't like a oh, here's an easy headed pass to you. It was a 50-50 challenge. Won the header, and it lobs up to Matty Cash, who when you see the dude lean over and cock back like this, and he comes at it sideways, lets it bounce, comes at it sideways. Have you seen this goal, Patrick?
I have not.
And this is the second goal Villa scored versus Spurs, the winner. And he hits it into the corner. And, dude, it was pelting, absolutely pouring down rain. Just disgusting conditions. Luca Dean, over the shoulder, pulls it down with his left foot, and then flicks it before turning around back to Buendia, who does a little drop of the shoulder and curls it far post. Absolute crazy goal. Villa have come out of nowhere. Horrendous start to the season and have won 5 straight. So it's not going to be straightforward for Haaland FC on Sunday.
Well, but none of City's games have been straightforward because we don't know what City is when they step on the field. So I think because they know that, they go into every game one game at a time, which has been the Leaue mantra for years. It's just one game at a time. You play to get team in front of you, because worrying about the next team does nothing for you in the game you're in.
Well said.
Because we don't know if we're good yet. We're still working on that.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. Good that, I'm kind of in the same vein where Arsenal haven't, we're getting there, but we haven't necessarily hit the way heights yet. And we're in first, and you're saying you haven't really got there yet either, and you're in second. It's a good place to be.
And what's crazy is, like, City's in second, and if you ask me, do you feel like you're in second? No, not at all. And in the Champions League, being in the top 7 in the table, does it feel like it? Nope. And what?
Yeah, the draw to Monaco wasn't great, though.
No, it wasn't. But the thing that I look at is that, and if I'm being honest, and I really think it's important that feeling exists, because there's a complacency that comes with the confidence of, okay, we're good, because it turns you into a history FC team where you're like, okay, well then people are just going to bow to us. No, I don't want anybody to bow. I want people to make us have to play, because then what that does is it makes you raise your level. I mean, I look and I say, Chelsea did that when they played Liverpool, right? And beat them, because I mean, yeah, Liverpool was on a little run, but people was like, well, it's Liverpool, and Chelsea. And no, Chelsea was like, nope, we're there. And I think it's super important, because if you go into every game with hey man, we don't know if this is a walk or not, let's just go into it. And I think what it does is it keeps that chip on your shoulder, because that's what happens when you win a lot. When you start winning a lot, you assume you're supposed to win. And yeah, and for those low-level teams that are not great, that's fine. That works. But if you want to compete for real trophies, you need teams that don't care what your history is. And this is where, and you mentioned Arsenal going into other places and how that affected them. You're noticing how that's not affecting them. And you remember the Champions League run City had? I was like, hey man, put them all in front of us.
Yeah,
I want to play them all. Yeah, because you can't duck them. So if you go into every game with the edge of, I got to win this game, and I dislike the every game is a final thing, because then you devalue the final. But if you say everyone, I'm gonna have to be good, then you go in there and then the environment is irrelevant because all you're doing is looking at the player that you're matched up against and how your team is performing. And so I think that matters. And this is why I also think this is why Chelsea has been sort of on the turn they're on as well, is because Enzo has really shown that. And I think that I think we joked about the red card, but I think the red card,
Hey, that's 6 games running. It may not have been for Chelsea, but it is a 6th game in a row that there was a red card.
I think they're just involved in games with red cards. I think that's.
I think maybe someone on the bench or something is involved in a betting scandal, and he's just there's going to be a red card, and so he's just like, "Hey, Malo Gusto, bro, do something stupid in the 86th minute today.
Please.
Just, Hey, João Pedro, it's a 96th minute, man. I got to cash this bet. Go ahead and kick somebody in their face." Yeah. But that is a excellent segue to the Chelsea section. We never know what Maresca is going to put out. I had a little gaffe today where I followed my my notes for the bet that I wanted to put in before I looked at the lineup. Boys and girls, do not do this. Do not do what I have done. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay? And when I looked at this lineup from Enzo Maresca, I was like, what?
I had to explain it to you.
Yeah, exactly. My point exactly. You had to explain it to me because I was like, what in the absolute? But hey, it worked out wonderfully. And Maresca, despite all these crazy injuries, he's making it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that I was watching. I was scanning Twitter because it'll always be Twitter, and I saw this clip, and it was such a microcosm of what Chelsea used to be compared to what Chelsea is now. And it was we were playing Everton, and it was the game that Cole scored like 4 goals. But there was the argument over who to take the PK. You had Madueke, you had Jackson. And it took Thiago Silva.
Jackson got all butt hurt, yeah.
Well, so did Madueke, because originally it was Jackson, and Thiago Silva came over and like tried to, keep the peace. And then Madueke kept the ball, and then Conor Gallagher comes over and takes the ball from Madueke to give it to Palmer, and there's like a scuffle. And my point being is that immaturity showed every week in some fashion. Yeah, we've got these red card things. Some of them I'm just like, I don't know what y'all are doing. But I feel like this summer, because I haven't been able to talk about it yet, I feel like there was like a moment where they realized, Enzo is actually setting us up to be successful. We need to play within what he is telling us to do. And I think that Chelsea, even though there are some moments where I'm like, we're still not there. We're still not there. We're getting there. But we're still not there. I feel like we have matured to a point now, like I was talking about earlier with Enzo. We've matured to a point now where, do we lose our heads sometimes? Yes, because you still get red cards, so yes. But I feel like that they go into matches now, I don't want to say expecting to win, but they have the mindset we can win. Because I think the Liverpool game was a perfect example of it. We were flying high. Caicedo hits an absolute banger. Liverpool then goes and ties it. And I know as a Chelsea fan, I was like, oh gosh, we're going to lose in the 86th minute. I just know it. We're going to lose in the 86th minute, because of what Liverpool was doing to start the season anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And the mentality was like, no, we're going to take it to them. We're going to take it to them, and we're going to go down fighting. And there have been times where Maresca kind of goes more defensive, but I think he's getting to the point where he feels comfortable with the bench, even though there's a ton of injury. But he feels comfortable with the bench now to say, okay, we can go for it. This past weekend was a perfect example of it. Today, I thought was interesting. I think even without the red card, Chelsea probably. Oh, where'd he go?
He'll be back.
Okay. I think even today, without the red card, I think Chelsea scores 3 and wins that still pretty comfortably. But the style plays good. I think that Jeremy Gittins had a really good game. He had a really good game today. It was good to see, and it feels like he's finally kind of settling in a little bit. Esteval,
youngest player to ever score in the Champions League.
Funny thing was Leaue, or is it Leaue? I think it's Leaue.
He started, yeah.
Yeah, he was the first one. He set the record, and then Esteval broke the record.
Yeah, in the same game.
Yeah. Same game, probably like 20 minutes apart.
Right.
But I think that Chelsea has gotten to the point to where they can be respected again. Did we get blitzed by Bayern? Yes, and I kind of expected it.
Everybody gets blitzed by Bayern.
Yeah, I kind of expected it, so I wasn't too upset. I think what I was more upset about was I think the first goal against them was kind of – oh, that was right. That was the one where the daggum ref got hit, and instead of he gave him like a drop ball, and we weren't even paying attention when he gave him the drop ball. And Olise whips one in, and they're like nobody responds. Yeah. So, but today, we had 2 penalties. There was no fights. You had Enzo take one. It was good. And then the Estefan one, he just freaking roofed it.
That was a hell of a penalty.
Yeah. Kid's a stone cold killer. I'm telling you, man. Like, you knew this guy was legit when he's playing his soon to be team, team that he's going to be a part of, and he's still out there trying to score against you.
Yeah. It's like it's already a done deal, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to score against you anyway."
Yeah,
I'm coming, guys.
But I thought Hato was good. I thought he was good today. I thought Tosin and who else was out there? Fofana.
It was Fofana. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some good moments. And then Achimpong.
You got another one on your hands there. He's good. He's solid.
I was reading something and it said that Chelsea didn't go for another center back because they knew what they had in Achimpong, and I'm like,
sure,
I don't believe that, but dude's legit too, and
he's playing well.
And I want to point out, because I know he's gotten a lot of slack, and some of it has been warranted, but Reece James is finally being the captain that we've needed. He is.
I think he's been healthier longer than any spell I can remember.
He has, and that's a credit to Enzo or Maresca. He made it a point to say he's too good to be sitting on the sideline, but we need to protect him too. But it was fun. I actually paid attention to the most of it today. And I thought I think back to gosh, I can't remember his name now. Who was it that Chelsea recently sold? He was put on loan.
You sold so
Tall
many
guy.
people.
He was
Tammy
a striker.
Abraham?
No, striker. He was a striker.
Tammy Abraham was a striker.
No, not Tammy.
That's
No,
too
no,
far
no.
back.
Too far back. More recent. Like a year ago.
Not Jackson.
No. Who is the other one? He was like Serbian.
The fast dude?
No.
Not Mudryk, who's running track for Ukraine now.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
good spot for him.
He's out of soccer. He's running track in Ukraine now. Yep.
That's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
I hate it, but
Oh, you're talking about Broya, Armando Broya.
Broya, yes, Broya. Leaue is the type of striker that we wanted Broya to be. To press, and when you get your chance, you take it.
Took one today.
Took one today. Nice little headed down pass to the back post, and he scuffed it a little bit, but he scored.
Hey, goal's a goal.
Goal's a goal.
Victor
right?
Gyökeres put it in with his dick.
Yeah, exactly. Which I just Googled former Chelsea strikers, and wow,
The list is like.
whew, whew.
Does it just say all of them?
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's like 48 on here, somewhere around there. Yeah, but back today, I thought we looked good. I thought, red card alone, it made things a lot easier. Never really was concerned. Even when they scored, they got their penalty. I was like,
I was
we're not
upset.
gonna have a shutout, but we're not worried about that.
I was very upset with that.
I know you were.
I turned the game off after that.
I know.
There's no point watching it anymore.
But
I needed that shutout.
Yeah, I had Mbappe to score today, which he didn't do. I had Elise with 3 shots. He got 2. And Leaue to have 3 shots. And he got 2 as well. So did not win.
Yeah, I had all kinds of stuff out today.
Yeah.
I did decent over the Champions League the last 2 match weeks. But y'all are hosting Sunderland at Stamford Bridge at the weekend. What do you expect? Because I have no clue what to see, what we're going to see as far as a lineup. Not a clue.
Who's available?
Did you probably picked up another injury in this game? No one knows.
No, I don't think we did.
Because
I think we got out of this one pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
okay.
mean, I figure Neto will probably come back in, but Sunderland are not great away from home. They're doing great at the Stadium of Light, but it's not great away from home.
So I think João Pedro will start.
It'll be kind of back to what we saw versus Forest, right? That's
I'm looking at the lineup against Forest. We went.
It was Chalobah and
Achapong.
Yeah.
And then James and Cucurella and Lavia, Gusto, Santos, Neto, Garnacho, Pedro. Which I was really surprised that Nacho didn't play today.
Speaking of old Coochie Ray, I wanted to text you during that first half. I wanted to spark that up again during the Arsenal first half yesterday, because Jurrien Timber was killing it. He was doing some incredible work over there, and I know you're a Cucurella fan, and I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's been good, but I'll take Timber all day long.
Listen, I went through a spell where I thought that Cucurella didn't deserve to be on a football pitch, let alone play for Chelsea. So, I took the bad, but I'm enjoying the good, and that's a whole Enzo thing. I think he's done an amazing job playing to his strengths, and I think that's why we've put so much focus on that left side. Because we bought 2 wingers on the left in Nacho and Gittins. And I think it's because, one, they don't want to play Neto over there unless they absolutely have to. They'd rather play him on the right. And honestly, he'll play on the left more if Palmer's back, but he's not going to be back for another 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, he had another setback, didn't he? Yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
It was just the original assessment was wrong or whatever.
Yeah, they originally said that he was going to be back after the international break, and they're like, it's actually going to be November. So I figure it'll be December before he's really back. But
yeah,
just I don't trust our health staff. There's things where it's like,
yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I felt about the Arsenal trainers for a long.
It's like, you sure about that?
Time.
Like, dude can barely stand up, but he's gonna be back in 2 weeks. Like, you sure about that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But no, I think that's one reason why they really focused on the left side this summer, and I think that's one reason why they sold Madueke, was because he played better on the right 9 times out of 10. You want Pedro Neto, though, to play over there more if you can, or Palmer or Esteval. Esteval on the right, love it. So since I haven't been able to talk about it, this summer was great. I loved every moment of it. I don't care if anybody says it was a Mickey Mouse Cup or whatnot. It was fantastic.
It's the Donald Trump Cup.
Oh yeah,
that was great, dude.
He has his own. He has a medal. Do you know he has a medal? He got a medal and his own replica of the trophy.
I was gonna say the trophy's still in the Oval Office.
He got a replica of the trophy.
Just as an aside, Patrick.
Celebration.
Lewis and I have been talking about this. I desperately want to see Cristiano Ronaldo holding a World Cup, looking at Donald Trump like this, right as they're lifting the trophy, and Trump just refuses to leave the trophy lift like he did for Chelsea. I want to see Ronaldo.
Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, Reece James, it's hilarious. Reece James looks over and he's like, is he serious right now?
All right, I guess we're doing this.
Like, okay, I guess we're doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved the Club World Cup. I did not get to go. I was very disappointed. It just didn't work out. But I think as I have told y'all for 2 years, actually 3, the club was focused on the Club World Cup. Like, that was the moment of all this chaos and everything. Like, that was what they were focused on. That was the moment that they're like, okay, we've now gone over, this hill, so to speak. And we're gonna have a shirt sponsor soon. We just got a new,
moving up in the world.
We're moving up in the world. I honestly, I think it's going to be Riyadi Air, because they said something about a partnership outside of just the shirt, and I figure it's going to be like an airline probably. Sure. Yeah. And they recently signed a deal with Riyadi Air for airlines. But what are your thoughts on old Chelsea, Lewis?
Well, interestingly enough, we did have the opportunity to go see him this summer in the Club World Cup and had
Nice.
the 14,000 hour rain delay. But outside of the rain
Oh,
delay,
against the team
We
from
were
Tunisia.
we were at the Benfica game.
yeah,
Oh, the Benfica game?
yeah, and it was funny because we watched and we were I think Cucurella looked good in that game. Like
He
we
did.
watched him, we was like Cucurella looked really good here,
He did.
and it was interesting because you could see there was a cohesion that was there, and my buddy Donnie was there. He's a Chelsea fan, so he's kind of like you guys, where he's like, well, we'll see or whatever. But he wasn't like high or low or anything. But it was they looked like they were getting their stuff together, and so I think at that game we started the running sort of that like kind of a non-serious running bet about Chelsea's run, because we looked at what was in front of them on that table and we like, man, if they win this game, they could make a run to the finals. Like I'm pretty sure we said that when we were there, and then they did.
Mhm.
And I mean, it goes back to the point that I was making to Jake about, like, you just got to lift something that's real. And there's nothing really that because I think you put it in the chat, Patrick, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe X might have done it, where it was like, hey, we've won everything, and it showed like Chelsea's won each one of the trophy. Any trophy that's available to win, Chelsea has won it.
Absolutely.
And so while some of the trophies you don't necessarily want to win, like
the Conference League and all that.
Yeah, but you've won everything, but for
Yep.
them to win this trophy, where teams were trying, like, we're not going to pretend like teams weren't trying. They were trying, and they beat everybody who was in front of them. And I thought that was
except for Flamengo.
But it's funny
they
because
went and bought their best player, so it's all good.
But in that game,
No.
He didn't come from there.
That was
That was
Santos.
Palmeiras. Or was Santos? Okay.
But in that what's the game they played? Who did they play, Jake? Benfica? Is that who they played?
The one we were at, yeah.
I went to the Benfica game.
So for Benfica, like, we weren't like thoroughly convinced about them because Benfica kept staying in the game. We're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
But then Chelsea showed, some grit, and then when the referee gave them 14,000, minutes of extra time to finish the game, we was like,
well, the overtime was for the fans. That penalty was for the fans.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it was kind of cool that we got to see Di Maria, legend of the game, in person. That was cool.
But so overall, I think Pep prodigies have always been good. I've never slandered Arteta's ability, especially when he's clear. I think he was a good manager. I mean, he has the Pep and the Wenger sort of thing on him, and Enzo has the Pep in him, and Vinny has the guys who work with these guys who play possession baseball and yell at people and the referees and stuff and seem a little crazy. Hey, man, the success is finding them. And so I think Chelsea's making a pretty good run. I think the fact that now you don't have 3 teams of players anymore, I think benefits you, because when you people were sharing cubby holes in the locker room, that probably wasn't like the best thing for morale, because somebody had somebody else's boots on or something like that. So that probably caused some issues, And the training staff was confused because they was going to one person's locker and it was the wrong person, So because that's the case, I'm impressed with Chelsea. I think it's good because this is similar to what I said about Arsenal. Now, while I didn't mention Odegaard at all, but I did mention Saka, is the same thing that I'm seeing with Chelsea, because everything was on Palmer, and now you're not seeing that. And I think it's super important for teams to avoid being dependent on a guy. Yes, you got a guy who comes through in the clutch, and I think Reece has been playing well, but there's other guys who looked really good. But Chelsea is playing team ball, and I think that's impressive, because what that does is, because I don't know where are they in the Premier League table? Like, hold on,
Fifth or sixth.
They're in the top 5, right?
Fifth.
I think they are.
They're fifth.
Yeah, they're fifth.
We're fifth. Yep.
And the thing about it is, I just look at that now. I mean, obviously Spurs, it's right there with them. But anyway,
they're fifth on goals scored.
Yeah.
And so, but I look at that, but I think that's good, because if you asked us a year ago, based on what we saw from Chelsea, would you expect a year later they would be in the top 5 and clearly deserving to be in the top 5? We probably would have said no.
Yeah.
And so because of that, Enzo has done really what he was supposed to do, which was right the ship. He righted the ship, and it's funny because for sure we need X on here, but obviously with the baby covered, but having X on here talking about the Bowley Shore and all those things, because I think it's the flip where we're not talking about the owner anymore, and I think that's super important, because if you're not talking about the owner, you're doing what's right. Nobody's forced. Where the owner was almost on the sideline. We're not. we're not united. Even though United is in 9th. We're not talking about the owner. Do we want to cover that?
That Forest, man, I'm telling you, that Forest owner, he's freaking. He might as well.
He's playing Football Manager. Todd Bowley got accused of literally playing Football Manager. That's what Marinakis is doing. Like he went to Greece. To Spain, rather, to preside over the 6-1. And then, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be on the sideline for Porto. And hired Sean Dyche the next day.
Yeah.
Went to watch Olympiacos get destroyed. And he's like, you know what? I don't want any part of that. Maybe I should hire someone.
Because clearly he's better than League.
Porto's going to beat Forest tomorrow. No matter. Sean Dyche doesn't matter. Porto's going to wreck Forest. Porto is playing at the City Ground. They're gonna wreck Forest. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. But hey, I just looking at this table since we brought it up. Sunderland have conceded 6 goals, and they are tied on points with Chelsea.
Yep.
They're coming. They're coming for the scalp this weekend.
They don't score goals either.
Well, they've scored more than they've conceded.
Hey, 9 and 6. Again, like we said, long as it go in, we don't care how it goes in or anything. Long as it gets me my W, I don't care.
Well, only Arsenal have a better defense. Straight up.
Right.
City have conceded the same amount of goals, 6. Yep. But only Arsenal have conceded less.
Yeah.
Than Sunderland. Hey, man, I'm here for it. I'm here for it now that Chelsea's not playing one of my rivals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, y'all are going to smash them. I don't think they're
I don't think we'll smash them. I think it'll be a 2-1 kind of game. Just because there's always a chance for Sanchez to do Sanchez things. And but I think we'll get a couple goals. I like how we're playing without Palmer. I miss him, being out there, but it's allowed Enzo and Caicedo to really flourish for sure. And we got Leaue back. I'm telling you,
he's been playing good.
Yeah,
he's looked good last couple of games.
Yeah. So
sure.
Good momentum. Typical Chelsea though, they'll drop it.
Hey, we can only hope. We can only hope.
Well, and funny looking at the table, just kind of looking like the top half of the table from 10 up, hell, from 13. Like, I mean, it's not a giant gap, but from like 10, the 9th place team, which is United, is on 13. I mean, the Premier League is again Premier League, and I think that's why, the point about it being a long season is super important, man, because you hope your guys come in and have the form, but the festive period is to make or break, man. And I think for like if we look at Chelsea, Palmer should be back by then, right?
Patrick, I figure he'd be back by then. For
and
sure.
so what you're really looking at is that if you can get all your guys back at that time, that's beautiful, man. But then it's really the question of, because I don't know if Chelsea's going to go for the Carabao Cup, but I mean, I'm looking at it like this, man. That first trophy is going to mean a lot based on how tight the table is right now.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to mean a lot. And so while we make jokes about it, we already know how the draws are going to end up, and it's going to be good teams versus good teams going, into the knockouts. And so I think it's really going to be some good football, specifically like for English teams. And I think also we're gonna see a lot of guys getting the opportunity to like show their quality, because the other thing we're seeing with the Ronaldo Messi thing, the sort of the sunset, is the new generation of guys is starting to kind of grab a hold of like it's ours now.
Absolutely.
And so the thing that I think is important is I think we were generationally spoiled because it's unlikely to ever have two guys at the same time that just at that level. And so I think what we're going to get is we're going to get some really, really good guys who are going to be pushing themselves, not to be like those other guys, but to stake the claim of like, I'm the best this year. Yeah. And that's all they really can have is I'm the best this year.
Mbappe is definitely going for it. Kane's definitely going for it.
Yeah. And the thing is, because those guys are so good, with the exception of Kane, because he's a little bit of an outlier because he's older than them.
He's older, yeah.
But the rest of these guys are the same age, man. Generationally, they're all the same. And so then it's about just maintaining health. And like health is a thing. Like Bellingham over at Madrid hasn't been great with his health. I mean, Cole was on that direction where he was looking like he was like the next guy, and injuries got him. So it's these guys are looking at the doors open to do some things. It's very unlikely that there's going to be that one legacy team that runs the Premier League. Pep's run and City was not necessarily an anomaly, but that's unlikely to be replicated again. Because I know a lot of people were talking about, well, Liverpool and no, don't do it.
Well, it was never done before. Four in a row was never done before, and so.
But even the three in a row, back-to-back champions, that's not like a normal thing, man.
Twice only.
It's not a normal thing.
Ever. Yeah.
And so I think the Prem and how good teams are, and just the level of players that are coming, and the other thing that we talked about in previous pods in like last couple of years, the quality of managers. Now that you got new young guys taking over, they're starting to establish themselves. So it's really exciting to see what's coming next, because, hey, man, I mean, obviously I want City to win the league, but and Patrick, you weren't here for this, but I'd prefer, if I'm being honest, I prefer City win the Champions League over the league. I'm just being 100% honest about that, because
you totally get it.
But this is also because I think this is Pep's end. Like, I think if Pep can get one, he's out. He's gone. And the reason I'm saying that, and I sound like a crazy City fan, is because I prefer to move on from him sooner rather than later, because there's a dependency that we've seen the Alex Fergusons, we've seen the Arsene Wenger.
You don't want to do the end of the Wenger era. You don't want to do that.
No one wants to do that. And so I said this to another City fan. I'm like, well, hopefully, this year's a good one and we can win something, so Pep can, we can move forward. And he's like, don't talk like that. I'm like, but see, that's the problem. Fans not understanding there's a next person. And I mean, yes, if Pep wanted to keep managing, he could, but he's already made it clear he has no desire to do that. And so if it's if you've spoken that upon you, then it's going to start to show.
Yeah.
And then people can question that, which then you question yourself. So let the next guy, like Arteta has, I mean, if he wins something, because I think he's going to win something, but if he wins something, Arteta's at Arsenal for the next 10, 15 years.
Dude, he just signed a new deal.
But I'm just talking about
literally just signed a new deal.
No, but I'm talking about like he's on a Wenger, Alex Ferguson track.
Yeah.
And Enzo, if Enzo is able to kind of establish himself the way it looks like he's establishing himself, that ownership group don't have no reason to get rid of him. And so he should be there for the next 5 to 7 years, right? And if he has success as it goes there, he will be the consistency that Chelsea has never had.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Chelsea fans.
Well, that's partly due to Roman's.
I agree. I agree.
Trigger finger,
I agree, but at the same time, I would even say that Chelsea fans still wanted that consistency. And so I think if Enzo can be that guy, and so you have to look. So what it does is, because Slot's not going anywhere at Liverpool, so you're like, okay, if this is the new elite top 5, then as a team you got to kind of get your transition out of there, so your next guy is in there, and so you can start building what you got. But I mean, the Prem is looking wonderful, and so I think it's cool to have. It's a cool time for us to have these conversations and discussions about the young players that are coming up. And I mean, hey, I'm gonna give credit. I'm not one of the haters. Verts had his, some contributions today, so
got 2 assists.
yeah. And so I think, and again, I'm not hating on him. He rejected.
He back played at his level.
Yeah, I mean, he rejected City. I'm cool with that. I like Shirky better, anyways. And
Shirky is a baller. I love Ryan Shirky.
And so I look at that, and I want, and you all know, I want the competition to be good, because that means that you have to play up every week.
Yep.
Every week. And so, even though I do think I agree with you, Jake, I think Chelsea will probably handle Sunderland pretty easily. And I don't know if I think 3-1. I think it'll be a goal on both sides, and I think 3-1 Chelsea is for that one. And I know we're not doing predictions, but I think Chelsea will start to establish themselves sort of in that dominance as well. And I think what we'll start seeing is that we'll start seeing that top 5 start to separate a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the fixtures coming up, and both Chelsea and Arsenal have a little bit of an easy run. But you were talking about the festive period, Lewis. Arsenal kicks it off with a bang. Spurs, Bayern, Chelsea, back to back to back.
Are you serious?
November 23rd.
Jesus.
We host Spurs, we host Bayern, and we're at the Bridge within 7 days.
Yeah, because we play all on the 30th.
On the 30th, yeah. So we're kicking it off with a bang for sure.
I mean, I didn't know it was like that, but
it's like that. Yeah.
So what do you think from there? I mean, say your team form stays the same and health is fine. What do you think you get out of those?
Well, if we roll the next games like we should, we got Palace at home, which will be tough on the weekend. Brighton in the Cup, Burnley and Sunderland. That's our next 4. And then it's Spurs, Bayern, Chelsea. I think if we're still in a good vein, we should beat Spurs at home. I mean,
Bayern, I don't know if you know, Bayern is what? I think they've won, 6, 8 in a row, 10 in a row, 12 in a row, something like that.
Dumb.
They've scored 44 goals, and they've conceded almost nothing. Just so you know.
We've conceded 3 times.
That's crazy.
All season. We've conceded 3 times.
No, I see it. I see it.
Have not conceded in the Champions League or the Carabao. So, that's one game, so I'm not going to tout that versus Port Vale. But, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. That's going to be a fun game, man. That's going to be a fun one. I think we
play Barcelona that week.
That same day, probably.
I think
Tuesday
we
play
Barcelona that week. Let me look. Hold on.
What a match week!
Yeah, it's
for real.
I think we play Barcelona that week.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah. I don't know, man. Beating that Bayern team, that'll be a statement.
Yeah, you play Barcelona. Chelsea plays Barcelona before they play Arsenal.
But also,
we play the 25th. Yep.
What a week!
if we beat Prague, which we should, then we'll be on 12 points when we face Bayern. So, and if we were to beat them, we'll probably be first in the league if we win both those games. Hopefully, supposing Chelsea doesn't lay a brick against Barca. But man, that one's gonna be really tough.
Bridge. It's at the Bridge, so man. I figure Cole will be back right around then. Just looking, we've got. Oh wow! If you look at it from Chelsea's point of view, you got Barca and then Arsenal back to back.
Yeah. What a week!
We're gonna run the Bridge over.
So that's literally set up for a draw, man. It's literally set up for a draw.
What, Chelsea Barca?
No, Chelsea Arsenal. It's literally set up for a draw. It is because both of you played like crazy games before, and you know you're going for those Champions League games.
Dude, we're gonna run the bridge over. Don't worry. Don't you worry.
I ain't got nothing, man.
Don't you worry that pretty little head.
Who do y'all have left in Champions League?
So we got Prague, then Bayern, then I know we play Kairat on the last day, and we play Inter the penultimate day.
Oh.
So and then there's one more winnable game in there. I think it's might be Sporting.
We play Qarabag, Barcelona, Atalanta, Hafos, Napoli. I think that's it. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No, I mean it's manageable.
Brugge. Brugge's our other game. The team that Bayern destroyed today. So yeah.
But we will see.
So we got Prague, then Bayern, then Brugge, then it's Kairat. No, then Inter, then Kairat. Yeah. But we should, I mean, we might even be good to go by the time we go to Italy.
Yeah.
You know. And so we might not even, because we
There's
got
a lot of
Manchester
teams,
United
though, in that
after that.
small section right now. Like, I was looking at the table today, and like from, I think it's 14 on or 14 up, everybody's separated by like a game in terms of 3 points. So it's it'll be an interesting Champions League for sure. I kind of like this version of the Champions League because you get like it was cool doing the home and home, in terms of the group play, but I feel like you get better matchups.
But
I have that single match.
In addition to that, like you're trying every game. Like you have to try every game. But I mean, this is why, even though we didn't love the Super League, this is why the Super League would have worked.
Right.
It absolutely would have worked because of this.
I agree with that. Well, anyway, it's been a super evening, that's for sure, here on the Cup Chasers. So go ahead and smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hype it up, do all that, share the video, tell everyone about it.
2 thumbs up.
We will be back next Wednesday coming at you live and direct. We've had a good night. I hope you have a good one, and we will see you next time.